Most info product agencies think that getting paid on rev share protects them. It does not. Revenue sharing is temporary ownership. You're not really getting paid forever. You're getting paid for as long as that rev share contract is in place. Equity, a very different thing. Today, I'm going to show you why this is true and how to fix it so that you can get paid forever rather than just temporarily. So I've worked with info product agencies that are stacking these rev share deals, and then all of a sudden they have one bad month and they're out. Meanwhile, those who are doing equity deals with info product agencies are thriving. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers to understand this exactly. So I'm going to split the screen here. On this side, I'm going to talk to you about rev share. And on this side, I'm going to explain the equity side of the equation. Okay, so with rev share, it's a piece of the revenue. Obviously, rev share. With equity, it is a piece of the revenue, but then the question becomes for how long? This one is temporary, or as long as you're in the deal, but this one is the forever deal. And maybe not just as long as you're around, but your heirs, your kids, whomever, can get a piece of this deal ad infinitum. On the rev share side of the equation, you have client dependency. And in this case, I mean, in order for this to keep going, you have to either retain those existing clients that you have or add new ones to the mix. On the equity side of the equation, this is client permanency, which means that once you get it, it's almost as if on this side of the equation, you've got a Catholic marriage. You can't get divorced. Whereas on this side, you've got a Protestant marriage, which is people get divorced all the time. I mean, I've been married 5 times as an example. Don't do this one, do this one. On this side, on the rev share side of the equation, you basically have bought a job for a period of time. If that client decides not to work with you anymore, that job is kaput, it's gone. On this side of the equation, when we're talking equity, you have entered into a permanent, relatively speaking, permanent, ongoing arrangement. So this is the preferred option. On this side, on the rev share side, you have no asset value, which means that once you or once they or you decide no longer to work together, you now have nothing you've built up equity in. It's a difference. Again, a good analogy here would be this one is a term policy in insurance. Term policy. Whereas this one, and I like the way that we phrase this here, this one is a whole life policy, which means that that insurance plan, if you will, is in place forever. So let's look at a progression here. Progression from hourly or monthly rates to rev share to equity. Now let's use me as an example. So in the beginning, sounds like I'm starting the Bible here. In the beginning, I started out doing these kinds of deals, as most people do, which is I was usually getting, and I would set people up as a consultant on some kind of usually it was a monthly rate for me. I didn't do hourly, but you could. So I was doing, and people were paying me $500 a month. And then as soon as they left, I'd have to try and replace them with another $500 a month and another $500 a month. It became income was very fluctuating and not nearly as good. Now, when I got into rev share, that was somewhat better because rather than getting this $500 a month, I was getting a percentage of the revenue that we produced. And that was good because sometimes it wasn't good, but most times it was good. Instead of $500 a month, now I was getting maybe sometimes $1,000 a month. But again, When this client decided to end the arrangement, this went away as well. On the equity deal, and I'll give you the example of my first big equity deal, which was in the voiceover field with Bill, I was getting a piece of the action every month. But to this day, this deal still pays me money. These other options, when they ended, they were gone. No more revenue was coming in. This revenue keeps coming in every month for me. And if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, this same piece of the action, although it won't be the same, it'll be slightly reduced. My kids will get 10% of the net on that business every month. Good deal. Okay, so let's say you decided to stay here in RevShare only. What you would be doing is building up monthly revenue, but it has an end date. That end date is when either you or that particular client decides to end it. So this one is, again, a temporary arrangement, where this one is, and I won't say it's forever because it kind of isn't, it's relatively permanent. So this one is, I'll call it forever. In actual fact, it could be forever, whatever forever means, but it is much more permanent than a monthly rev share. So in this case, an example of this foreverness is that Bill, my original partner, decided to leave. We replaced him with one of our students, and this revenue here continues to come in. Had that been the case over here, again, revenue would have stopped and gone to zero. So equity is definitely the preferred model for you to get involved with. Not with everyone perhaps, but at least to transition over to doing that with your best client if you can. So if you look at it, every month you delay stacking equity and stacking rev share, you're stacking stress instead. So I would prefer you to stack equity rather than stack stress. Okay, let's talk about how you can pivot. So how to pivot or make the change from either hourly or rev share into equity deals. So how to pivot. Let's go through these step by step. Number one, pick info product clients with upside potential. Don't just look at their current revenue, but look at their projected revenue and where you see and think they're going to be going. Number two is frame yourself as a partner that what? Scales their brand or your brand combined. Three is you want to offer milestone-based equity tied to clear wins. Now, those clear wins in most cases would be revenue numbers that you hit, or even better than revenue numbers, net profit numbers that you hit. So your equity stake could be tied to various numbers related to what you help contribute in that particular situation. Four is dump anyone having to do with the law field. No lawyers involved here. Stick to strictly a one-page, simple, emphasis on simple, one-page agreement. Just because it's short doesn't mean it works or is enforceable. So your simple one-page agreement versus is greater than lawyers' involvement. So if you want your info product agency to last, you want that info product agency to have ownership, not just a higher rev share, because a higher rev share will only give you temporary increases in income, whereas equity will give you ongoing and, quote, forever income. So drop the comment equity below here if you want to start creating and implementing these equity deals starting today.